How did one harmless dance turn into papers in my hands, in a public lobby, with everyone watching me blink like an idiot? What happens when the man you call weak stays calm, keeps records, and lets the law speak for him? Why did the order on the first page say the new rule started today? My name is Eustacia Vye, and I used to think a marriage was like a stage. If the lights were on me, then we were fine. If the lights were not on me, then someone had to be at fault. I said it was usually Caleb's fault, because he was quiet and careful, and I hated how he could look calm while I felt invisible. That night started like any other night, where I told myself I deserved a little fun. I'd been tired for weeks. I worked in HR, and people brought me their problems all day. I came home and the house felt the same each day. Caleb asked about my day, and I answered in short words. I told myself he did not really see me. I told myself he only saw chores, bills, and the children's shoes by the door. Caleb asked if we could stay in and watch a movie. I said I needed to go out because I felt trapped. He asked if it was about him. I said it was about me needing air. I said he was too sensitive when he frowned. I said he always made my mood about him, even though it was his face that made me feel judged. Cassidy Lark invited me to a club downtown. She said it was a work stress reset. She said I needed to remember I was still young. I told Caleb it was just a girls' night. He asked if he could come too, like he was trying to be supportive. I acted like that was annoying. I said it would be awkward if he came because he did not know my friends well. Cassidy heard that and said it would be better if Caleb stayed home because he killed the vibe. I laughed a little too loud, and I saw Caleb hear it. He asked why I laughed. I said it was nothing. He asked if I wanted him to stay home. I said I wanted him to trust me. I said trust was basic. I said if he wanted to be a good husband, he should not make me feel watched. I said those words like a lesson. In the end, Caleb came anyway. He said he could drive and make sure I was safe. He said he would not hover. I told myself that was controlling because it made him part of my night. I wanted a night that felt like I could do what I wanted without seeing his reaction. The club was loud, bright, and warm. The air smelled like sweet drinks and perfume. Cassidy was already there with 2 other friends, and they hugged me like I was the star of the group. She asked where Caleb was. I pointed and said he was right there. She made a face that was almost a joke, and the others smiled in that careful way. People smile when they want to be cruel, but still look polite. Caleb nodded at them and said hello. He said it in a normal tone. He asked if they had a good week. Nobody answered with real interest. Cassidy said he was so formal. I said he was always like that, like a dad at a school meeting. I did not need to say more. The message was clear. He was not fun. Then I saw Rafe Delgado. He was not a close friend. He was more like a person you see in the background of city nights. He worked some dance events, and he knew how to move like the music was part of him. He smiled at me like he already knew my story. That look made me feel hot with power. I told myself I deserved someone who looked at me like that. Rafe came over and asked if I wanted to dance. I said yes fast. I did not look at Caleb first. I did not ask. I said to myself I did not need permission, because I was not property. Caleb watched me walk away. He did not stop me. He did not grab my arm. He did not raise his voice. He stood there with his hands at his sides, like he was holding himself together. I hated that calm. It made it hard to call him the bad guy. On the dance floor, Rafe held a safe distance at first. He asked if I came often. I said sometimes. He asked if my husband minded. I said my husband worried too much. I said I wanted to feel free. Rafe said freedom looked good on me. I swallowed that like candy. Cassidy and the others circled the floor and filmed short clips. Cassidy said I looked like I finally woke up. I said I knew. I said I had been asleep for years. I said that loud enough for the idea to float back to Caleb, even if he could not hear the exact words. Rafe spun me once. I let it happen. I could have stopped it, but I did not. I turned and saw Caleb across the room. His face was tight, but he stayed still. I smiled at him. It was not a kind smile. It was a sharp smile. It said, "I can do this and you cannot stop me." It said, "You are lucky I even bring you here." I told myself it was honest. I told myself honesty was better than hiding. Caleb came closer after a while. He asked if I was okay. He asked if I wanted water. I said I was fine. I said he was acting like my father. I said I did not need supervision. He asked why I sounded angry. I said he was trying to start a problem in public. I said he loved drama, even though it was me making the scene. We moved to the smoking patio because Cassidy wanted air. Caleb followed at a distance. Cassidy whispered that he looked jealous. I said he always looked jealous because he was insecure. I said he wanted to keep me small because he was afraid I would outgrow him. I said it like a fact, and the others nodded like they had been waiting for that line. Caleb stood near the railing, not too close. He watched traffic below like he was counting headlights. He asked if we could go home soon because it was late. I said he was ruining my night. He asked if I could just tell him a time. I said he was timing me like a child. He asked why everything became a fight. I said it became a fight because he made it one. On the ride home, Caleb drove with both hands steady on the wheel. He did not play music. He did not ask me about Rafe. That silence should have made me feel safe, but it made me feel exposed. I wanted him to accuse me so I could cry and say he was unfair. Instead, he stayed quiet, and I had to sit with my own choices. At home, the kitchen light was too bright. Caleb asked if I had fun. I said yes. He asked if I noticed how people looked at him. I said they looked at him because he looked tense. He asked why I smiled at him on the dance floor like that. I said he was imagining things. I said I smiled because I was happy. I said he should be happy for me. He took out his phone to check the time, and his screen lit up with a calendar reminder. I saw it without trying. It said, downtown 9:10 a.m. Caleb clicked it away fast. He noticed my eyes. He asked what I was staring at. I said nothing. He asked if I needed anything before bed. I said I needed him to stop acting like a victim. He stared at me for a second, like he wanted to say more. Then he nodded once and walked away. I told myself I won that night. I told myself he learned a lesson. I also told myself, in a small corner I did not like to touch, that the reminder on his phone did not look like work. It looked like a plan. The next Monday felt like a test I could pass if I controlled the story first. I woke up early and checked my phone before I even got out of bed. I saw Cassidy had posted the clip from the club. She did not tag my name, but she tagged the location and wrote a little caption about finally living. My face was clear in the video. Rafe's hand was in the frame. My smile was bright. I told myself it was fine because it was only dancing. Caleb was already in the kitchen. He had 2 mugs on the counter, but they were not close. One was by the sink and one was by the far edge, like 2 sides of a line. He asked if I slept okay. I said I slept great. He asked if I wanted coffee. I said I could make my own. He nodded like he expected that answer. I watched him pack lunches for the kids. He moved slow and careful. He did not ask about the video. He did not mention Rafe. I wanted him to mention it, because then I could call him jealous. When he stayed quiet, I felt like I was the one holding the wrong thing in my hands. On the way to work, my phone kept buzzing. Cassidy sent laughing emojis and asked if Caleb survived the night. I said he was dramatic and needed to loosen up. She sent another message and said, people loved the clip. She said I looked like the real me. I agreed fast because I wanted it to be true. At the office, the open plan floor was loud in a soft way. Keyboards clicked. People walked past with coffee. I worked in HR, so I knew how fast a rumor could spread. I also knew how to aim a rumor like a small weapon. By mid-morning, 2 co-workers came to my desk and asked how my weekend was. They acted casual, but their eyes were curious. One of them mentioned the club downtown, like it was a random topic. I understood the game. I smiled and said I had fun. I said I needed it because my home life was stressful. I did not say why. I let them fill in the blank. In the break room, a woman from payroll asked if my husband was okay with me going out. She asked it in a gentle tone, like she cared. I said Caleb worried too much and tried to control little things. I said he acted like I needed permission to breathe. I said it was exhausting. I said it like I was educating her. She asked if he ever got angry. I said he got cold and made me feel guilty for normal fun. I used the word cold because it sounded safe, and it made him look bad without me having to prove anything. I watched her face shift. I could see she believed me enough. Later, Devin Park, my manager, asked if I had a minute. He did not sound angry. That calm tone made it feel more serious. He led me into the small HR room. He asked if everything was okay at home. I said yes, but I also said Caleb had been difficult lately. Devin asked if my personal life was showing up online in a way that could create problems at work. I said I did not understand. He said some employees followed Cassidy and saw my clip. He said people talked and it could affect how others saw me in HR. He said he wanted me to be careful. I felt heat in my face. I wanted to attack him, but I could not. So I turned it into a victim story. I asked why women could not have fun without being judged. I said men posted worse things all the time. Devin said this was not about judging fun. He said it was about professional boundaries and avoiding drama. He asked if I could keep my social media clean for a while. I said I would think about it. When I left the room, I told myself Devin was part of the same system as Caleb. I told myself they both wanted to shrink me. At lunch, I ate at my desk and scrolled again. The clip had more views. Someone commented a laughing face and wrote that my husband looked miserable in the background. Cassidy liked that comment. My stomach tightened, but I still told myself it was not my fault. I told myself Caleb chose to look miserable. Caleb texted me around 3. He asked what time I would be home. I waited before answering. I wanted him to feel uncertain. I wrote that I had a lot to finish and might be late. He asked if I could confirm a time for the kids' bedtime routine. I said he was being controlling again. I said I was not a child. He did not argue by text. He only sent a short message that he would handle dinner. That calm reply made me angry, like he took my power away. After work, Cassidy said we should go to a rooftop bar. She said it would reset the mood after my manager's talk. I agreed because I did not want to go home to Caleb's silence. The rooftop bar was bright and windy. The city lights looked like they were watching. Cassidy leaned in and asked what Devin wanted. I told her he tried to warn me about professional boundaries. Cassidy laughed and said men always protected other men. I said Devin was scared of my confidence. I wanted that to be true. Then Rafe arrived like it was planned, even though I told myself it was random. He came up smiling and asked how I was. I said I was fine and needed a drink. He asked if my husband was with me. I said no and acted casual. He asked if I wanted to dance again sometime, maybe after his class hours. I said yes, but I said it softly, like it was a small secret. He touched my elbow for a second. It was not explicit. It was enough. Cassidy watched us and looked pleased, like she had arranged it. She asked if I felt alive. I said I did. I said I was tired of being managed at home. She asked if I meant Caleb. I said yes. I said he was always counting rules. My phone buzzed again. It was Caleb. He asked if I was coming home soon because Sadie asked for me. I stared at the message and felt a sharp irritation. I told myself Caleb was using the kids to pull me back. I wrote that I was still at work finishing a problem. I wrote that I would be home soon. It was a clean lie. I told myself it was fine because I deserved one quiet hour without guilt. Rafe asked why I looked tense. I said my husband was dramatic. I said he acted like I betrayed him when I only wanted fun. Rafe said some men could not handle a strong woman. I nodded like he was wise. When I got home, the house was dark except for a small lamp in the living room. The kids were asleep. Caleb was sitting at the table with his laptop open. I saw rows and columns again. He clicked the screen away when I walked in, like he did not want me to see. I heard a soft beep from his phone, like a reminder or an app starting. He stood up and asked if I had a good night at work. I said yes and walked past him, acting bored. He asked if I could talk for a minute. I said I was tired and he should not start. He nodded once, like he was saving his words for later. I told myself he was being passive-aggressive. I told myself he wanted to punish me with silence. But when I went upstairs, I could not stop thinking about his screen, his calm face, and how he did not chase me anymore. It felt like the air had changed, and I did not like it. On Tuesday, I told myself I would be smarter. I told myself the rooftop bar was a small slip, not a pattern. I said I still had control. I said I could keep the fun and keep the marriage, because Caleb was too stable to leave. I still think that was the most dangerous belief I had. That afternoon, I searched for a dance studio near my office. It felt like a clean excuse, because dancing could look healthy. I booked a class under my name and paid fast. When the confirmation email came, I deleted it. I told myself that was not hiding. I told myself it was just avoiding drama. Caleb texted near the end of my workday and asked if I could pick up Miles from daycare. I said I had a late meeting. He asked if it was important. I said yes and added a small sad face emoji, like I was the one carrying the world. He replied that he would get Miles and also pick up Sadie from after school. He did not ask more questions. That calm reply felt like he was stepping out of my reach. At home, I changed clothes and told Caleb I was going to a class to clear my head. He asked what kind of class. I said a fitness class. He asked where it was. I said near downtown. He asked if I could share the address in case something happened. I said he was being paranoid. I said he always needed control. He looked down for a second and said, okay. In the hallway, I noticed a sticky note on the small table by the stairs. It said, bring forms. The handwriting was neat, like Caleb's. I asked what that was for. He said it was for personal errands. I said he was being vague on purpose. He did not argue. He only moved the note under a mail pile like it was nothing. The dance studio smelled like clean wood and sweat. The mirrors made everything look bigger than it was. Rafe was there, of course. He acted like he was surprised to see me, but his smile came too fast. He asked if I joined for real. I said I needed a hobby. He said a hobby that looked like me was a good choice. I let that flatter me. The class was not intimate. It was normal. People moved in pairs and switched partners. Still, Rafe kept drifting near me. He asked if I was okay. I said I was great. He asked if my husband supported me. I laughed and said Caleb supported rules, not me. Rafe said I deserved someone who clapped when I walked into a room. I told myself he understood me. After class, Rafe offered to walk with me to my car. I said yes. He asked if I wanted to practice sometime without a group. I said I did not know. He said he could help me get confident. I said I was already confident, but I liked hearing it anyway. He asked when I was free. I said maybe Thursday. He said he would text. In the parking lot, my phone buzzed. It was a missed call with no caller ID. I stared at it, then looked around like someone was watching. I told myself it was spam. I told myself it meant nothing. Rafe asked who called. I said nobody important. On the drive home, I kept thinking about Caleb's quiet face and Rafe's easy praise. I told myself I was balancing things. I told myself Caleb had become boring, and boring was a kind of betrayal too. I said that in my head like a slogan. When I walked in, the kids were on the living room carpet with blocks. Sadie looked up and asked where I was. I said I had a meeting. She asked why I always had meetings now. I told her adults worked a lot. She said Dad worked too, but he came home. I felt a sharp sting, like she had touched something tender without knowing. Caleb was in the kitchen cooking. The smell was warm and normal. He asked if class helped. I said yes and tried to sound casual. He asked if I ate yet. I said no. He put a plate on the table without a comment about my lateness. While he turned back to the stove, I saw his laptop on the counter. It was open to a spreadsheet again. I could see columns with dates and short notes. I could not read everything, but I saw words like pickup, post, late, and bar. My chest tightened. I asked what that was. Caleb closed the laptop and said it was his own tracking for routines. I laughed and said he was acting like a robot. He did not smile. After dinner, Caleb took Miles upstairs for a bath. Sadie stayed with me and colored. She asked why Dad slept in the guest room. I said he liked quiet. She asked if Dad was mad at me. I said Dad was stressed. She asked if I did something bad. I told her no, and I felt angry that a child could make me feel cornered with 3 questions. Later, I went to our bedroom and saw the closet slightly changed. Caleb's side looked thinner, not empty, but less. I opened a drawer and saw a new key on his ring, one I did not recognize. I held it up when he walked in. I asked what it was. He said it was for a lockbox at the bank for important papers. He said it like he was talking about weather. I asked why he needed that. He said it was responsible. I said he was being dramatic. He said he just wanted to keep things organized. That night, I woke up thirsty and went downstairs. The house was dark. In the guest room, a thin line of light showed under the door. I heard a soft click, like a locked drawer. Then I heard a faint toner smell, like the printer had been used. When I walked past the office nook, the printer tray had a single blank page sticking out like it got interrupted. In the morning, I checked my phone and saw a message from Rafe. He said he enjoyed seeing me in class and asked if I wanted to meet by the river after work for a walk. I stared at the screen and felt that quick rush again. I told myself it was not cheating if it was only talking. I told myself I needed someone who made me feel seen. At work, I was distracted. I opened my email and then closed it. I kept thinking about the river and Rafe's words. I also kept thinking about Caleb's key and the spreadsheet. When my phone buzzed again, I hoped it was Rafe. It was Caleb. He asked if I could confirm the kids' schedule for the week. He asked what day I would be home on time. I said he was acting like my boss. He replied that he just needed clarity. He said he planned meals and pickups. He wrote it like a list, not like a plea. I felt annoyed that he sounded so calm. That evening, I met Rafe by the riverside promenade. The air was cold and clean. People walked dogs. Couples held hands. Rafe asked if I was happy. I said happiness was complicated. He asked if my husband treated me well. I said Caleb was not romantic and made me feel small. Rafe said I should not shrink for anyone. I nodded and told myself I was finally making a brave choice, even though my stomach felt tight the whole time. When I got home, Caleb did not ask where I was. He did not accuse me. He only said Sadie did her homework and Miles ate well. He said he put extra snacks in their bags for tomorrow. He looked past me like he was already somewhere else. I went upstairs and looked at myself in the mirror. I still looked like the same woman, but I felt like I had stepped onto a road where the signs were gone, and I was pretending I knew the way. The weekend dinner was my idea, and I sold it like it was for peace. I told Caleb we needed family time, like I was the responsible one. He asked if I wanted both families there. I said yes, because I wanted witnesses. I wanted people to see me as calm and brave, and I wanted Caleb to look tense and guilty without me having to prove anything. We met at a family restaurant with a long table and bright lights that made everyone look tired. The kids sat between adults like small shields. Sadie held her coloring book. Miles kept dropping his spoon. Caleb helped him pick it up each time, quiet and steady, like he was practicing patience. My mother Nora arrived first and kissed my cheek, like I was the one who needed comfort. She asked if I had been eating enough. I said I had been stressed. She asked if Caleb was still being difficult. I said he was still acting cold and sensitive. I said it in front of him. Caleb looked at the menu and did not react. That calm made me feel like I had to press harder. Cassidy came too, even though she was not family. I told myself it was normal because she was my closest friend. Caleb did not invite anyone. That looked like weakness to me, like he had no support. I liked that. Then Marjorie arrived with Ethan. Marjorie hugged the kids first. She did not hug me. She asked Caleb if he was sleeping. He said he was fine. She asked if he was eating. He said yes. She did not look at me when she asked those questions, and I felt like she was building a wall with simple words. When we sat, Nora started talking about the club night like it was a funny story. She asked if I had danced again since then. I smiled and said I might take a class. Caleb glanced at me for 1 second. I pretended not to notice. My father Gordon cleared his throat and asked how work was. I said work was stressful because people always judged women for living. I said I felt watched at home too. Gordon asked what I meant. I said Caleb made faces when I went out. I said he acted like I was doing something wrong when I was only trying to breathe. Caleb asked me if we needed to talk about this in front of everyone. I said yes because I was tired of secrets. I said he always asked for private talk so he could twist things. That was not true, but it sounded true if you said it with confidence. Marjorie asked what watched meant. I said Caleb asked where I was and what time I would be home, like I was a teenager. Caleb said he asked because of the kids' schedule. I rolled my eyes and said he used the kids as an excuse to control me. I watched faces around the table. I could see some of my family nod. I felt relief when they did. Ethan asked Caleb if he wanted to step outside for a minute. Caleb said no and stayed in his seat. Ethan looked at me like he was checking my story for cracks. I did not like that look, so I changed the topic. I talked about how lonely I felt. I said Caleb was not romantic. I said he acted like a roommate. I said I did everything emotional in the house, and he only did tasks. Caleb asked if I could say one clear thing he did that was wrong. I said the problem was that he always needed proof. I said real pain did not come with receipts. Cassidy leaned in and said some men got threatened when their wives looked good and had fun. Nora agreed fast. Nora said a husband should be proud. I nodded like I was hearing wisdom. I wanted Caleb to look small at the end of the table. But Caleb did not collapse. He ate slowly. He cut Miles's food. He asked Sadie about her school project. He said he liked her drawing. He sounded like a normal father. That made me angry, because it made me look like the unstable one. At one point, Sadie asked why Dad slept in the guest room. The table went quiet. I felt my cheeks burn. I said Dad liked quiet because he snored less there. Caleb looked at Sadie and said he just wanted better rest. He did not blame me. He did not defend himself. He made it sound normal, and the calm made people uncomfortable in a different way. After dinner in the parking lot, Gordon pulled me aside for a second. He asked if I was sure I was being fair. I said he was taking Caleb's side. He said he did not want sides. He said he wanted me to stop making it public. I said making it public was the only way to be heard. Gordon sighed like he wanted to say more. Then he let me go. On the drive home, Caleb kept both hands on the wheel again. He asked if I felt better after dinner. I said no because he embarrassed me by acting calm. He asked how calm could be embarrassing. I said it was fake calm, like he was performing. Caleb did not argue. He just nodded once, like he stored my words somewhere. The next week, the school pickup line felt like a smaller version of that long table. Cars waited close together. People watched each other through windows. The air smelled like exhaust and wet leaves. I saw Caleb's car ahead of mine. That surprised me because I thought he would be at work. I got out and walked closer, acting casual. Caleb was standing by the sidewalk with Miles on his hip. Sadie held his hand. He looked neat, like he planned the day. He asked why I was there. I said I came because I cared. He said he already confirmed pickup times yesterday. I said he was acting like a gatekeeper. He said he was just following the plan. A teacher came out with a clipboard and asked Caleb to confirm emergency contacts. She said there was a form update for the new term. Caleb said he would handle it and asked her to email him the link. She nodded and said, "Okay." I felt a sharp fear, like a door was closing and I did not have the key. In the car, Sadie asked if we could all eat dinner together that night. Caleb asked me if I would be home by 6. I said I would try. He asked if I could answer yes or no. I said he was being rude. He said he needed clarity. He said it in the same calm tone again. At home, I noticed small changes that I tried to ignore. The calendar on the fridge had more notes in Caleb's handwriting. One square said, "Meeting personal." Another had a reminder that looked like a drop-off time. I opened a drawer in the kitchen and saw a labeled folder edge sticking out under mail. It said, "Utilities." It made me feel like he was sorting life into boxes without me. That night, when I went upstairs, I heard a soft sound from the guest room, like a phone recording beep starting and then stopping. I froze for a second. I told myself I was being paranoid. I told myself Caleb was too timid to do anything serious. Still, when I lay in bed alone, I kept thinking about the teacher's clipboard and Caleb's calm answers. I kept thinking about how my words at the restaurant did not land the way they used to. I had wanted a crowd to crush him. Instead, the crowd had watched me. And I could feel, in a quiet and ugly way, that my control was slipping. I started treating Caleb's calm like an insult. I told myself he was doing it to punish me. I told myself he wanted me to beg. That story helped me sleep for a few nights, until I noticed the house had new rules, and I was not the one writing them. On Thursday, I went to the supermarket after work because I did not want to come straight home. I walked the aisle slow, pretending I was choosing carefully, but really I was delaying the moment I had to face him. When I reached the checkout, I saw Caleb 2 lanes over. He was there with the kids, like he had planned the time on purpose. Sadie stood on the small metal footbar and held a box of cereal. Miles sat in the cart seat and chewed his sleeve. Caleb scanned items with that steady look. He did not look angry. He looked focused, like a man doing a job. I rolled my cart closer. I asked why he was here. He said he needed groceries for the week. I asked why he did not tell me. He said he did not need permission to buy food. I laughed and said he was being petty. He said he was being consistent. Sadie asked if we were eating together tonight. Caleb looked at me and asked if I would be home by 6. I said I would be home when I was home. He asked if I could answer yes or no. I said he was acting like my manager. He nodded like he had heard that line before. At the payment screen, Caleb used a different card than usual. I noticed because I knew the color of our shared card. This one was plain and dark. I asked if he opened a new account. He said he was separating some expenses for clarity. I said that was dramatic and unnecessary. He said it was simple and responsible. A woman behind me watched with curious eyes. I felt my face get hot. I wanted to make Caleb look like the weird one, so I spoke louder. I said he was doing this because he was jealous of me having friends. I said he was trying to punish me because I danced one time. Caleb did not raise his voice. He only told the cashier to have a good evening. Then he thanked her. He pushed the cart forward, like I was not performing a show right beside him. Outside in the parking lot, the wind was cold. Caleb loaded bags into the trunk. I stood close enough to be seen as trying, because that was important to me. I asked if he planned to keep acting like a stranger. He said he planned to keep things calm for the kids. I asked if he was going to pretend my feelings did not matter. He said feelings mattered, but behavior mattered too. That sentence made me angry because it sounded like judgment. I said he was acting holy. I said he should stop playing the victim. I said he was making me look bad in public by being quiet. He looked at me and asked why I needed a public fight. I said I did not. I said he was the one who made everything tense. He did not argue. He just buckled Miles into his car seat and checked the strap like he always did. When we got home, I followed him into the stairwell and kept talking. I wanted him to snap. I wanted him to shout so I could tell everyone, see? This is who he is. I said he was cold. I said he never fought for me. I said he did not even try to win me back. Caleb climbed the stairs with one hand on the rail and one hand holding a grocery bag. He did not stop. He asked me to keep my voice down because the kids could hear. I said the kids already heard enough because of him. He paused on the landing and looked toward Sadie's room like he was listening. Then he looked at me again. He asked if I was done. I said I was not done. I said I would not be treated like a roommate in my own house. He said he was not treating me like a roommate. He was setting boundaries. I asked what boundaries meant. He said it meant he would not argue late at night, and he would not discuss personal issues in front of the kids, and he would not chase me for answers. I said he was giving up. He said he was choosing peace. I stormed into the kitchen and opened drawers like I was searching for proof that he was hiding something. In the mail pile, I saw the edge of folders again. Bank, household, utilities. I pulled one out. It had neat sections inside, like someone had sorted life into categories. I said he was acting like I was already gone. He said he was preparing for any outcome. That word, outcome, made my stomach drop. I covered it fast with anger. I said he was threatening me. He said he was not threatening me. He was planning. I said planning was the same thing. He said it was not. That evening, we went to a community hall because the school had a fundraiser prep meeting. I told people I was going because I cared about Sadie's class. The truth was, I wanted to be seen. I wanted to show everyone I was a good mother and a normal wife. I wanted to erase the club video with a brighter picture. The hall smelled like coffee and old paper. Folding chairs scraped the floor. Parents talked in small circles. Caleb sat 2 seats away from me instead of beside me. That space felt like a public statement. A volunteer asked us to sign up for shifts. Caleb wrote his name in Times without looking at me. The volunteer asked if I could cover a Saturday slot too. Caleb glanced at me and asked if I was free Saturday morning. I said I did not know my schedule yet. He said okay and chose a different time. He did not argue. He did not plead. He just adjusted like I was not reliable, and that made me feel exposed. A mum I knew asked how we were doing. I smiled and said we were fine and just busy. Caleb nodded and said we were focused on the kids. That answer made me sound like the dramatic one, without him even saying anything negative. On my phone, I noticed a thread name labeled follow-up. I also saw a contact saved as an emoji, not a real name. I did not know who it was. I watched Caleb from the corner of my eye and wondered if that was his way of hiding things. I hated that thought because it made me feel like the kind of person who should be worried. When we got home, the guest bed looked slightly disturbed, like he had been there earlier too. On the counter, I saw his phone screen light up with a cloud sync message that said a file upload was successful. He turned the screen down fast. I asked what he was uploading. He said it was personal records. I asked why he needed records. He said it was smart to keep things organized. I followed him to the landing again. I told him he was being dramatic and cold and unfair. I said he was trying to scare me. He looked tired, but his voice stayed steady. He asked me to stop twisting his calm into cruelty. I said if he loved me, he would fight. He held the railing and looked at me for a long moment, like he was deciding what kind of man he would be in the next part of his life. Then he said he would handle it properly. I told myself Caleb's properly line was a bluff. I said he wanted to scare me back into being quiet. I said he would cool down like always. I even told Cassidy that he was doing a performance because he liked looking like the calm hero. The next morning, he texted me a short message and asked if I could meet him at an office tower lobby downtown at noon. He said it was about logistics and the kids. I asked why we could not talk at home. He replied that neutral places kept things clear. I felt offended by the word neutral, like I was a problem he needed to manage. I went anyway because I wanted to show I was not afraid. I also wanted to find out what he thought he was doing. I wore a clean blouse and did my makeup like armor. I told myself I would smile the whole time. In the lobby, people walked fast with badges and coffee. Caleb stood near a pillar with his phone in his hand. He did not wave. He just nodded when he saw me. His face looked tired but not messy. He asked if I had a few minutes. I said yes and asked if he planned to lecture me. He said he was not lecturing. He said he wanted to talk about schedules, money, and communication. I laughed and said he sounded like a handbook. He said that was fine. He asked if we could keep all talk about the kids in writing. I said that was cold. He said it reduced confusion. He asked if I could stop posting about him. I said I had a right to tell my truth. He said truth was not the same as humiliation. I told myself he was trying to control the narrative again. I said he was scared of looking bad. He said he was not scared of looking bad. He said he was done with arguing in circles. He said he would not discuss personal issues without structure. That word again, structure, made my throat tight. I tried to flip it. I asked if he was seeing someone else. He looked at me like I was speaking a different language. He said no and asked why that mattered. I said it mattered because he acted distant. He said distance was a boundary, not a punishment. I hated how he made it sound normal. When the conversation ended, he did not hug me or touch me. He only asked if I could be home by 6 for the kids. I said I would try. He said try was not a plan. I said he was being rigid. He said he was being consistent. 2 days later, he texted again and asked me to meet near the courthouse plaza at 10 in the morning. He said it would be quick, and it was about the kids' routine. I asked why the courthouse area. He said it was a public place with clear parking and cameras. He added that public places kept things calm. That line annoyed me because it sounded like he expected me to cause a scene. I still went. I told myself he chose that place to scare me with the building. I told myself it was a cheap trick. I even called my sister Brielle and asked her to come with me, because I wanted backup. Brielle asked what was going on. I said Caleb was acting strange and trying to control me. She sighed and said she would meet me there. The plaza was open and bright. People stood in small lines. Some held envelopes, some looked nervous. I saw 2 parents from the school fundraiser across the street, walking with clipboards. I felt a sudden shame that made my stomach turn, because this was not a place you wanted to be seen. Caleb stood near the steps, hands at his sides, like he belonged there. Brielle arrived and asked what this was. I said Caleb was doing a power move. Caleb looked at her and nodded politely. He asked if she planned to stay. Brielle said she was just there to understand. Caleb said, okay. I walked up and asked why he dragged me here. He said he did not drag me. He said he asked, and I came. I said he was playing games. He said he was ending games. Then a woman in plain clothes approached with a badge on a lanyard. She asked if I was Eustacia Vye. I said yes, and looked at Caleb like he set a trap. Caleb did not react. The woman said she had documents for me and asked me to confirm my identity. I asked what documents. She said she could not explain and told me to accept service. I laughed like it was ridiculous. I told her she had the wrong person. She asked if my name was Eustacia Vye and repeated my address out loud. People nearby turned their heads. Brielle's face went pale. Caleb stayed still. I took the papers because everyone was watching. My hands shook, and I hated that. I flipped the first page and saw the words I did not want to see. I saw that Caleb had filed for divorce and requested temporary orders. I saw dates. I saw rules. I saw a parenting schedule that started immediately. I saw limits on spending and instructions for exchanges and communication. It was all written like I was a risk that needed a system. I looked up at Caleb and asked how he could do this to me. He said he was not doing it to me. He said he was doing it for stability. I said he was cruel. He said he was being lawful. He said I could talk through the proper channels. Brielle whispered my name like she wanted me to stop before I made it worse. Across the plaza, one of the school parents stared and then looked away fast. Caleb did not smile. He did not gloat. He just stood there with a calm face, like the paper had become his voice. I opened my mouth to say something sharp, but my eyes caught one line again. Effective today, and the air left my chest.